One Punch Man, Chapter 109, Fake. So did I ever tell you guys that I love One Punch Man? Maybe I did. But one of the reasons why is because of King, and these chapters in particular that put him in the spotlight and show us what an incredible character he really is. I mean, that's what I think at least. Maybe you feel a certain way about King, but I really do think he is a very well-written character. Maybe the most well-written in the series. I mean, next to Garou and Saitama, of course. But whenever I think that I've seen all of the tricks that they're going to pull out with this guy, why don't Murata go ahead and give us what they did in this chapter, and I just loved it so much. Dare I even say I was delighted by it, but other than that, let's get into it. So the chapter opens up with Giro finding out about the fate of Orochi, and I suppose this means Orochi is dead. I mean, if Giro is not able to tell if Orochi is alive or even faintly alive, and it's just coming to the conclusion that he is dead, I mean, other than just seeing half of his skull laying at the bottom of debris, I guess this means he is officially dead. Now, the silver lining here is that Giro says again in this chapter after the first page, she asks, like, is he really dead? So either this is Giro not able to come to terms with him actually being dead because of how ridiculously powerful he is and how unrealistic it appears that someone could just take care of him that effortlessly, or maybe it's a subtle narration letting us know that he is possibly coming back. So yeah, I do think there is a realistic chance that he still is coming back despite the info that we're getting in this chapter. I can't really go too much into why I think that is a possibility because it's not really the time and place right now in this review to be talking about that stuff, but I'm going to make a video about specifically about the fate of Orochi where I can talk about all kinds of stuff that's leading to that conclusion. So look out for that video. So we're also seeing that Giro discovers Saitama and that he is the one who took care of Orochi. And it doesn't really go any further than that. We do get a funny little sequence where Saitama's like, oh, a bug. And he claps it and that's how it goes. And then the follow-up to that is Tatsumaki mistakenly thinking that Giro is talking about Super Ally Darkshine because they're both bald people. But so then Giro starts begging for her life, and Tatsumaki just says, if you really want to surrender, then bring your true form out. Tatsumaki was already saying this when she first encountered Giro in Chapter 107. So Tatsumaki seems to be under the impression that what we are seeing of Giro is not their true form, and that maybe they're being controlled remotely, or maybe they're inside of them because, what happens later on in the chapter. But I'll get to that when we get there. But the sneak attack that Giro is doing to Tatsumaki in this chapter is pretty fascinating, I gotta say. So I guess pretty much doing like the force lightning of this universe, like the Esper lightning or energy beams. It looks like a lightning, so I'm just going to assume it's that. The sequence when all of the eyeballs come together and shoot those things at Tatsumaki. And so Tatsumaki says, an elegant and nuanced usage of your psychic ability. Who taught you how to do that? So this is apparently an ability that can be learned through psychic Esper stuff, which is kind of cool. Although I don't think we've ever seen Tatsumaki or Fubuki do any kind of techniques like this, but I suppose it is the possibility that they are capable of it. I mean, definitely Tatsumaki. I suppose she could do anything, really. I mean, if she is aware that this technique exists and that you need to be taught how to do it, then I suppose that she could do it. Maybe we'll see it later on in this arc. That's not a spoiler. This is all new stuff. This is a new development. Espers cannot use this force lightning in the webcomic. I'll just put it out there. So your guess is as good as mine with this stuff. But going back to Tatsumaki saying, who taught you that? I suppose is inferring that Tatsumaki's like going through a process of elimination here and has come to the conclusion that there's no way a monster could figure out this ability, as well as having like all of the knowledge that Giro has, as well as the other abilities on top of the other ones. So I guess this leads Tatsumaki to just be like, all right, I'm pulling this quote-unquote meat puppet out of you. This meat puppet term was coined in Chapter 107. So I guess this is what the meat puppet was. There's apparently like another thing inside of Giro. So this is like hat on hat here. But it really remains to be seen if this is a meat puppet or if this is the actual form of Giro. But then Tatsumaki's like, aren't you Fubuki's friend? So there are breadcrumbs that you can follow in order to figure all of this out, exactly what Tatsumaki's talking about here and what could be happening after this. But I can't tell you because I feel like I would be spoiling it for you at this point. I can't really go into this because I know what this is. I know what's going to happen. I read the webcomic. This is all webcomic stuff, aside from the Forced Lightning. So I'm in a weird spot, you know, because I don't want to spoil anything. So I'll just move on from this. So then it cuts to Fubuki, and she's aware that Tatsumaki is close by, taking on somebody powerful. And I think this is like hyping up the next couple chapters here, because Fubuki's like, you know, there's terrifying monsters waiting for us ahead, and battles at this level would be deadly for anyone involved. Because after this point, there's only the executives left to fight, really. I mean, the only demon I think that is unaccounted for is Devil Longhair, so we don't know the result of the disciples versus him yet. But other than that, it's just the big boys. Even the fodder's gone, as far as I know. Maybe there's some lingering fodder, like the one that we see at the end of this chapter, but other than that, all the significant battles are left to be had in this arc. And also, it's reminding us that Garo is still out there, because Bang's like, looks like Garo's not the only opponent we have to watch out for. So this is, maybe this is a bridge to the final part of this arc, because, you know, we kind of getting off of that big momentum from the Saitama versus Orochi fight. So this is like the bridge, and I guess the next part could be considered the third part of this arc. So the first part was like all of the lead up and the introduction to the Monster Association, up to Chapter 84, and then the second part was after Chapter 84 all the way up to this. So now we're going into the third part, which is just full out, just all of the big boys coming together and just throwing their cards on the table and seeing what happens. So then it cuts to King, surprisingly, but before that, Bomb put some respect on his name, as is custom after all. But this is showing us that King is down here, which we didn't know about. As far as I know, I think the last time we might have seen King was Chapter 94, right? I guess, like when he was with Fubuki, Bang, and Bomb last at Saitama's apartment. So yeah, it's been a while since we've seen King, and man, it's so good to have him back in the story. I've been missing him. You know, there's been a lack of King, and it's certainly been filled after this one. But we're also seeing like why King is by himself, and it's hilarious. How, like, you know, he's saying that normally when groups split up, it's like, you know, you go the even route. You know, if you have 4 people, you go 2 and 2, but in King and Fubuki and Bomb and Bang's case, it's just they go and then King's by himself, because of course they believe that King is extremely overpowered and that he only needs himself, which is the truth, of course. But there are some people out there, especially some of you people watching this or listening to this review right now, that still don't believe that King is disaster level god. So then Waganma shows up, and when I first saw this, I was like, what the hell's going on? Where's Child Emperor? What happened? Did I miss something? And then he started talking, and I was like, okay, this is a load of barnacles. But we're finding out that this is just some kind of mimic monster who can allegedly perfectly copy a person. So that's interesting. We haven't really seen that, as far as I know, at least not to this degree. And I don't think we've been briefed on this monster. So he's kind of just like a fodder that's been out there lingering. And I guess he was just trying to deceive King into getting a chance to murder him, I suppose. But so then we go into the amazing sequence of the chapter, and like I said, I just love this so much. And it's just the monster activating King's ability, which just happens when you step into his vicinity. And for anything else that you do at that point, don't talk to him, because if you talk to King, then you're really done. Like, you're better off not having a conversation with him. Maybe you'll walk away, possibly, but we're seeing that talking to him is the worst thing you could possibly do, because just his response is enough to literally kill him. This is probably the most impressive feat of power in the series. King doesn't touch him, he doesn't do anything, he just talks to him, and then it's just enough for him to just systematically die, just from stress and fear. Because he says, it's terrifying. Crap, I'm breathing too hard. I can't maintain this transformation. And then his bones start piercing his vitals. This is just from an interaction with King. Like, and then he melts. Like, yeah, Saitama, the serious punch, you know, the force of it punching away the collapse star roaring cannon, that's cool, bro. But have you killed a monster via fear? I don't think so. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you think is going to happen next. Who's the first executive that's going to get their hands dirty? And if you liked the video, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A video that I do. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.